The first two episodes of Skeleton Crew had some fun little Easter eggs and references back to other Star Wars stories. Here's everything I caught while watching the premiere. Brutus, the wolf-like pirate, is a Shistavenin, a species first seen in the theatrical cut of Star Wars A New Hope. The character named Lax Sivrak appeared in the Mos Eisley Cantina and was made using an off-the-shelf Halloween mask. George Lucas disliked its basic appearance, and when he made the special editions of Star Wars, Sivrak was removed from the cantina and replaced with a new, more complex-looking alien named Ketwal. But Shistavenin characters continued to appear throughout Star Wars, and Brutus has taken the species full circle, bringing it back into live action. I should point out that Brutus might also be a Defil, a different wolf-like being from the Cantina. That species was able to absorb light to effectively become invisible. Brutus's red eyes do match the Defil seen in A New Hope, but I think the rest of his face is more Shistavenin, and nobody in the production has referred to him as a Defil, so I think he is Shistavenin. Wim eats cereal with milk for breakfast, just like Cyril Karn did in Andor, and just like kids do in the real world. In Star Wars, cereal is called Crunchies, and of course the milk is a different color. Although I wouldn't classify Wim's milk as blue milk, it looks far less appetizing. The kids' school uniforms have Tianese symbols on them. That was an alphabet found in Star Wars that would be like the equivalent of our Greek alphabet. So far in canon, we've only ever seen them written in one of the sacred Jedi texts. Tianese is a very old language in the Star Wars galaxy, so its appearance on At-Aten is a clue to its mysterious origins, the same as Wim's mint condition Old Republic credit. That said, Arabesh does appear frequently on the planet as well, labeling buildings, including the school, which is simply called At-Aten Middle School. One of Wim's neighbors is seen walking a frog dog down the sidewalk in multiple scenes. It sure seems like it's a pet for the Ithorian, but they're actually sentient. According to the Alien Archive reference book, frog dogs would often allow themselves to be kept as pets so they could live an easy life with a constant food source. But they were also used to complete secretive tasks because they were so unassuming. So maybe this frog dog is deep undercover, trying to figure out what the hell is going on beneath the barrier of At-Aten. An RX series pilot droid can be seen driving Wim and Neil to school, which is interesting. Those droids were first created as pilots for Star Tours and have since been seen holding a variety of jobs from disc jockey to card dealer. It's strange that At-Aten seems to be remote and unknown to the rest of the galaxy, and yet they do have some familiar droids and technology. This might suggest the RX series droids are a very old design, or maybe it means At-Aten isn't as isolated as we think. I definitely think there's something shady going on with the government and the safety droids, so maybe they're keeping the citizens isolated and in the dark, but the high-ranking officials have some connection to the rest of the galaxy. Wim's storybooks appear to be about a character named Druin, with one page reading, "Druin packed his bag with everything he would need and set off on his adventure." While trying to act cool meeting firm, Wim says her bike is totally wizard. That's a term we hear Kitster use to describe Anakin racing in the Boonta Eve Classic pod race in The Phantom Menace. Again, if At-Aten is a remote and isolated world, that means Kitster was using some very old slang. I guess people have been trying to make wizard happen for thousands of years. When Wim goes to get Neil to help him find the buried hatch in the woods, he first sees his friend's little siblings, Jorko, Jobo, and Tulu, who are all watching a curious-looking hologram in the living room. If you've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, you know what? You should watch it. It's like a rite of passage at this point. But these acrobats were first seen in 1978 as a hologram Chewbacca's son Lumpy watched. The characters included the Ringmaster, a gymnast called the Great Zorbak, and two jugglers called the Rico Brothers. Wim talks about how some Jedi temples were able to lower down into the ground to protect themselves in times of danger. He reads about it in his storybook, but he is absolutely correct. In Star Wars Rebels, we visit a Jedi temple on Lothal several times. It had mostly buried itself in the planet, and Kanan and Ezra had to use the Force to raise it back up. During their second visit, they raised it up further to visit a different level. And the third time we see it, the Empire excavated around it to get deeper rather than raise it up. It eventually completely sunk into the planet to protect its connection to the mystical world between worlds. When Wim activates the buried ship, composer Mick Giacchino uses a familiar-sounding musical cue twice. You can hear it in Return of the Jedi when Leia blasts two stormtroopers during the Battle of Endor. Maybe Mick used it here to show Wim being a loose cannon. I'm not sure why he chose that specific cue. In the second episode, we meet the droid first mate of the mysterious ship named SM-33. His name is a reference to Smee, Captain Hook's bosun in the Peter Pan stories. While searching his databanks for the planet At-Aten, 33 offers up 3 other worlds as options, and 2 of them are places we've seen before. Adelon was a remote planet in the Outer Rim that served as a base for Phoenix Cell of the Rebel Alliance during Seasons 2 and 3 of Star Wars Rebels. It was discovered by the droid Chopper, and a mysterious being known as the Bindu called it home. Aldhani will be familiar to fans of Andor. That's where Cassian and several other rebels stole millions of credits from the Empire. SM-33 takes the kids of Skeleton Crew to Port Borgo, where they hope to find directions back to At-Aten. That would appear to be another name for Borgo Prime, a black market port first created for the Legends book Young Jedi Adventures Shadow Academy, where it was described as a spaceport built into an asteroid filled with people who have no conscience, thieves, murderers, creatures who would just as soon kill you as greet you. In Legends, it had a connection to the Imperial Remnant, and it's possible that's still the case since we've seen the Empire working with pirates in The Mandalorian. According to the in-universe reference book The Smuggler's Guide, it was located along the Hydean Way, not too far from Mandalore. The pirate ships docked at Port Borgo are all painted with the same black striped colors as Gorian Shard's Cumulus-class Corsair, which we saw destroyed in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Some of the musical cues Mick Giacchino uses on Port Borgo sound similar to his father's work in Rogue One, specifically the introduction of Saw Gerrera's partisans on Jedha early in the movie. This cue I understand bringing back a little more because it simply sounds sinister, and the partisans were also seen as ruthless, attacking the Empire much the same way a pirate would. The kids are taken to Port Borgo by a teak ferryman. That species first appeared in the Battle for Endor made-for-TV movie. Like we see in Skeleton Crew, they were small but fast, moving almost as a blur. In Legends, they weren't originally from Endor, but had established a colony there and were not viewed favorably by the Ewoks. They were known to take things from Ewok villages, leaving behind some weird unwanted trinkets as a trade, which the Ewoks understandably found to be annoying. Wim calls his credits dataries, which is a more rare term for money in Star Wars. Qui-Gon Jinn does tell Wata he has 20,000 Republic dataries in The Phantom Menace, but most people simply say credits. I wonder if Wim using the less common term is meant to be another clue about the mystery surrounding At-Aten. The kids come across what appears to be a brothel in Port Borgo, and outside we can see an Escagian, like the dancer Yarna Del Gargan from Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. The other character is a Thelan, like Ristal Sant, another member of Jabba's court that was introduced in the special editions. KB comes across some cute winged creatures that are later set free from their cages. The creature design is based on Fuzzball, a character from Captain EO, which was co-written by George Lucas and shown at Disney theme parks from 1986 to 1998. And Fuzzball isn't the only potential Easter egg from Captain EO. Neil shares some similarities with the elephant-like character Hooter. When Wim doesn't pay for the food he orders, the server demands credits, claiming this isn't a Criffin charity. Criff is a well-known expletive in Star Wars that I think is the equivalent to the F-bomb. Variations of the word included criffed, criffer, criffing, criff off, criff this, criffed up, you get the idea. A pirate is seen getting a tattoo of the Hutt cartel insignia before the kids bump into him and ruin it. That symbol was first seen on Jabba the Hutt's arm in Return of the Jedi. The tattoo artist is a D8 series droid, the same model as the torture droid from the depths of Jabba's palace. But this one is covered in tattoos of his own, or just like decals or marks or something. Finally, back on At-Aten, the safety droids run into Wendell in the woods as they search for the source of the seismic activity caused by the ship launching. The shots of the droids with their flashlights in the woods is very similar to some shots in E.T. of government agents lurking in the forest. I take this as another hint that something shifty is going on with the droids and the government they serve. But that's everything I caught in the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. Let me know what I missed in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page for our video reactions and audio commentaries for every episode as they release. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.